You going to release all the UFO files?
We're working on it. It's funny. When I came in, I was obsessed with the UFO files, and then you start getting really busy worrying about the economy and national security and things like that. But I've still got 3 more years as vice president. I will get to the bottom of the UFO files.
Okay. Have you peeked? Have you done a peek?
Have I what?
Have you done a peek? Have you
So I actually haven't. I have
full
not.
Independence Day.
I have. I have not been able to spend enough time on this to really understand it, but I am going to. Trust me, I'm obsessed with this. I've already had a couple of times where I'm like, all right, we're going to Area 51. We're going out to New Mexico. We're going to sort of get to the bottom of this. And then the timing of the trip just didn't work out. But trust me, anybody who's curious about this, I'm more curious than anybody. And I've got 3 years of the very, very tippy top of the classification. I'm going to get to the bottom of it.
Okay, so you haven't been to Area 51 yet?
Not yet.
Some people say they keep the UFOs in Ohio. They might,
Hangar 18, Hangar 18, right?
I've
heard that as well, but I don't know. I haven't looked into it yet.
Okay, all right. Well, we're waiting for it. We saw aliens.gov.
You know me.
We saw aliens.gov.
I don't think they're aliens. I think they're demons anyway, but that's a longer discussion.
Well, I can't let you go without a follow-up on that, because Barack Obama is on this podcast and he goes, "Yeah, aliens are real, but like here's where they're not." And
I did not.
And so Obama says, yes, aliens. He gets asked point blank, are aliens real? He said, oh yeah. And then he goes, but they're not at Area 51. And
where are they?
Well, that's what he says. Right. That's a great question. Trump had to go save him, and he said he's going to declassify. Okay. So you think they're demons?
Well, look, I think that celestial beings who fly around, who do weird things to people, I think that the desire to describe everything celestial, everything is otherworldly, to describe it as aliens. I mean, every great world religion, including Christianity, the one that I believe in, has understood that there are weird things out there, and there are things that are very difficult to explain. And I naturally go, when I hear about sort of extra natural phenomenon, that's where I go to, is the Christian understanding that, there's a lot of good out there, but there's also some evil out there. And I think that one of the devil's great tricks is to convince people we never.
Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Makor Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect. All right, so you got J.D. Vance sitting down and speaking on how he believes that the angels of Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai are demons, all right, and a threat, to this place, man. All right. And you see that with their depiction, all right, of the angels, which they call aliens and all that shit. With their depictions of the angels in movies, man. All right, it's always some, demonic looking creature, man. That's a threat, and in the end, they find a way to win and defeat the threat that's, threatening the world and all this shit, man. All right, but that's not gonna happen in real life, all right. And of course, these angels, all right, that they liken the demons, all right, are viewed like that to them because, upon the return of Yahweh Shai and the angels, all right, they're gonna get destroyed, man. All right, their whole setup, their whole rulership, their land is gonna get utterly wasted. Their rulership, they're gonna get taken out of power, and they never gonna come back into power again, man. All right, so of course they view, the angels this way, man. All right, when you look at those ships, those are the chariots of Israel. It's not, some demon-like creature in there, man. All right, these are the angels of, who you call God. All right, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. All right, but this is Zechariah 5:1. Then I turned and lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a flying roll. And he said unto me, what seest thou? And I answered, I see a flying roll. The length thereof is 20 cubits, and the breadth thereof is 10 cubits. This is the chariots that as UFOs being described in the book of Zechariah. All right. It says, then said he unto me, this is the curse that goeth forth over the face of the whole earth. For everyone that stealeth shall be cut off as on this side according to it. And everyone that sweareth shall be cut off as on that side according to it. All right, this is the curse that goeth forth across the whole face of the earth. All right, this is a curse to Esau. All right, everybody outside of the hopeful elect, man. All right, because the only people that's gonna get delivered or beamed up by these vehicles, which are the chariots of Israel, is the elect. All right, to everybody else, it's gonna be what they think it is in the movies, man. They coming back to destroy, man. All right, and he say he got all these files and all this dumb shit, man. That shit ain't shit, man. You don't have the drop on the angels of Yahweh Shemel Shot, man. All right, so they can have their little fake ass Area 51s and all these files that they want, man. But it don't matter because they're not gonna be able to contend with the chariots of Yahweh Shemel Shot. It's not like these little vehicles that they have, man. Esau got his planes and his helicopters, drones, and all this shit. It go at a high speed or whatever, But this is celestial beings in these vehicles, man. All right, the capability of these vehicles is something that Esau can't match. All right, he know that, you know. But Esau being Esau, all right, and the Most High, is going to put the spirit on Esau and the other nations to fight these, try to contend with the vehicles, all right, the chariots. All right, they going to get, pardon me, they going to get utterly wasted, man. All right, so this is a curse. He likened it to some demons, man. I wouldn't call the angels demons, of course not, but it is going to be a opposing force that's going to, be your worst nightmare, as they say, man. All right, it says, I will bring it forth, saith the Lord of hosts, and it shall enter into the house of the thief, and into the house of him that sweareth falsely by my name, and it shall remain in the midst of his house, and shall consume it with the timber thereof, and the stone thereof. All right, this place is going to get utterly wasted, man. All right, by the chariots of Israel, man. All right. And Esau, once again, he don't stand a chance, man, against this, man. Against the power of Yahweh Shem Shai, man. In the vehicles that he's going to send the angels in. And, Yahweh Shai, of course, is going to be accompanying, they're going to be accompanying Yahweh Shai upon his return, man. All right, Revelation 1:7, behold, he cometh with clouds, and every eye shall see him, and they also which pierced him, and all the kindreds of the earth shall wail because of him. All right, behold, he cometh with clouds. All right, because the chariots being likened to a cloud, a cloud being that big structure, if you want to say that, in the sky. And these prophets didn't have the things that we have in the sky now, or Esau has in the sky now, to compare them to. So, I'm not going to say it's like a big ass helicopter or a big plane, liken it to a cloud. And that's what Yahweh Shai is coming back with. All right, many chariots is going to accompany him, man, upon his return. Second Esdras 13:3, and I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. And when he turned his countenance to look, all things trembled that were seen under him. All right, Yahweh Shai coming back with the thousands of heaven, man. All right. So all this, talk about, all these files that they have, and I'm gonna dig deeper into it. It's not nothing that they understand. They don't have no information on it. Esau's a liar, man. You know this, man. He's a big damn liar, man. All right. Ain't got no that the Most High is gonna let them have pages and pages of information on the chariots of Israel, man. All right. When the chariots do show themselves, Esau see it and can't fuck with it. It's all you see in videos, man. All right. I'm gonna hop up to verse 8, 2 Esdras 13:8. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst fight. All right, Most High is gonna put the spirit on these nations to try to fight against the chariots, and they're gonna be sore afraid, man. When you see the capability of them chariots, how they move, at a speed that you can't even fathom, man. All right, the flaming breath that come out of them, man, which is is the beams, that concentrated fire. All right, of course they're gonna be afraid. So afraid that Yahweh Bashem Yahushua is gonna have to put the spirit on them to even fight. It ain't like it's gonna be no real fight, you know. Yahushua and the angels is gonna, defeat them easily, man. All right. Continuing on, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. All right. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. All right, that's that. What you know is a beam, the laser beam coming out of the chariots, man. It's gonna be easy, man. All right, this ain't gonna be no competitive bout, man. It's just gonna be Yahweh Shai and the angels destroying this place easily, man. All right, it says, and they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and a smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. All right. So the Most High is gonna send Yahweh Shai and the angels back, and they gonna zap your ass in the smoke and dust, man. It's not gonna be a fight, man. It's not gonna be like in the movies you see, where the quote unquote aliens, they get off upon their arrival, and then it's usually America. America comes together. This is America. We gotta fight and use our weapons against this place and outsmart them. That shit not gonna happen, man. All right, this is gonna be a slaughter, man. So of course, the angels will be viewed by Esau as some type of demonic beings, man, because they come in to destroy him, and he know that. All right, but I ain't gonna hold you. I hope that video was edifying. Shalom.